is. I think the biggest thing is just, again, sometimes he gets a little indecisive. He gets through his progression and he's a little bit of a hiccup. And sometimes you just got to trust it and go ahead and go with it, and other times just get rid of the ball.
When he's in those situations, is it as much about confusion or just wanting to make a big play? Or not confusion,
I think I think a combination of either trying to make a big play or seeing too much. Seeing too much.
I don't have the quote in front of me, so apologies. But yesterday, I think you said something to the effect of, sort of before we get to Sam and figure out kind of went wrong there, let's look at what we did collectively from a plan standpoint.
Right.
Based on that, then what have you kind of figured out?
I thought there were some really good things. I really did. And again, sometimes it comes down to when we use them, when's the best time to use them, stuff like that. And then sometimes it is about execution and getting it done. I mean, it's a collaborative thing. It's not all on one person, one individual. I mean, that's why there's 11 guys on the field.
And in terms of Sam, I mean, I think because the way the game was unfolding, it was a question of, well, should he get taken out of the game for whatever the reason, even if it was just to protect him. And obviously there's been some talk on the radio and elsewhere about, should you make a switch? One question we've had all along is, what's the leash for Sam? For you, not suggesting it's this game, but for you, what is that scenario? Is there a point where you...
Well, right now we are 2-1. Right. Sam's won 3 games in 4 starts. So we'll just continue to go. We kept because we felt Sam, the only way he's going to grow and get better is to play. And that's why we did what we did.
In training camp, we talked a lot about Sam, how he doesn't really make the same mistake twice. With the regular season, are you seeing that same pattern kind of apply, or now that the live bullets are flying, you're seeing kind of more of the same things?
I think the biggest thing we're seeing is again, there's a point where sometimes you see too much. You go back and you may see a flash, and all of a sudden you think, okay, I'm going to put it in there, and he does. Other times he sees a flash that's, he's too close, and then now he tries to go somewhere else, and it's a little too late. So I think, again, he's just got to continue to learn and grow and get through this. I mean, again, this is a guy that's started and played 4 games.
A number of Buffalo defenders specifically mentioned like the 2.5-second mark, anything longer than that. Wondering for you guys and how you kind of teach Sam, is that, do you kind of have a number in mind of when you would like him to release the ball, or does it go that far, play to play? Like, how do you?
Well, you'd like him to release the ball before he gets hit. Sure. I mean, I'm being serious. Yeah. I mean, whether that's in your mindset saying, okay, there is a 2.5-second clock, which we all know and understand and believe in. But at the same time, because of his agilities and abilities, sometimes he can extend the play, which we've seen, and we've seen him do it successfully. But we've also seen it where that little hesitation, it's cost him a little bit. So again, we want him to continue to go with the clock in his head, but at the same time, we don't want him to miss opportunities if they're there. And then again, up front, we'd like to hold our blocks a little bit longer if we can.
Coach, you mentioned yesterday that working with a young quarterback, you kind of have to build in some down performances, some bad games. At the same time, when the rest of the division kind of has a bad week, does that something that kind of plays into your mindset as well?
Oh, yeah. You believe me, I'm hoping for tonight, too, to finish the week off, so that would be good for all of us. Not just being honest. I mean, again, it is, but that's not the reason why we do the things that we do. It's always kind of a relief to find those things out. But what you would like to do more so than anything else is, again, continue to work and have him grow. Because we know the faster he gets to where we think he can be, the better we're going to be as a football team. I mean, this is our 3rd game of the season. We're 2-1 right now, and we have an opportunity to make some corrections from this game. Everybody hates to lose. I hate to lose. I hate losing. Excuse me. Sorry. But I do. And the truth of the matter is, the only good thing out of losing is that you can learn from it. And that's what we intend to do, to learn what our mistakes were, learn what the things that we didn't do right, get those things corrected, and move forward. That's what we're going to do. I mean, we're not going to, stay indoors because the sky is falling. We're going to show up, we're going to work hard, and we're going to get it corrected. This is a good football team, good young football team that needs to learn and understand. You're going to make mistakes, you're going to get your butt kicked. How you respond, that tells everybody whether you're worth a crap or not. So I expect these guys to show up tomorrow. We're going to correct them. We're going to correct ourselves tonight as we go through it as a coaching staff, which we're done partly right now. And then we'll show up and we're going to get it right. We are.
And then speaking of that correction process, do you feel like, in hindsight, obviously, do you feel like leaning on the run should have been more of a strategy point last week?
Well, hindsight is 2020.
Right.
Okay, and there were some things that we did do well in the run game, but we do what we did just mostly because it's collaborative. We talk about it on the headsets. We talk about it when we come to the sideline, and again, the one thing we do talk about is just trying to get the opportunity for Sam. That game was close all the way up to a certain point in the fourth quarter, and at any point it would have come together. Who knows? And again, it's hindsight now.
So throwing the ball a lot, you guys have done that throughout the first 3 games. Is that because of the deficits you faced, or because you want Sam to get that experience and that's about him?
I think it's a combination of both. Sometimes we got into the deficit where we did throw the ball, but it is about him too as well. Because again, the sooner we really feel he develops and grows, the more opportunities we're going to get. I do look at this like this is a very young player. Granted, I know he's a second-year player, but this is his 4th game. And so with that, there is some leniency. With that, there is, a little bit of growing pains that we're going to have to deal with. Is there a point? I don't know, because it's so important that he develops and grows for us. And so we're going to see, but we're going to give every opportunity right now. And, right now we're riding with him.
Kind of a niche question, but you guys have given up 2 big punt returns the last 2 weeks, and you haven't gotten much out of your punt return game. Could you guys look to that area to help Sam, and how big of a focus point would that be?
Well, I'm not. I don't know if that's as much about helping Sam as much as just helping the football team. But on both of those returns, the unfortunate thing is that they're very good kicks. You wish you had a little bit more hang time on them. We had a gunner getting down there close into place, and then we got out of our lane. So more so than anything else, if we can get just a little bit more hang time, that ball's fair caught, or if that ball's a little shorter. Quite honestly, he just kicked the ball too good.
I know some of the Bills players mentioned this, and I remember Tavita mentioning it in June about Sam sometimes hanging on his first read a little too long. Is that a product of seeing too much, like you said, or is that just his development?
I think it's part of his development. I think as you go through it, a lot of it has a lot to do with the play call, and that's one of the things that as we go through it, you got to see what you need to see, and then make your decision and move on to the next one or deliver the ball.
What did you see from the O-line, especially on the interior?
Well, I thought those guys fought and tried to do their jobs, but I do think that there's a couple things that got to give them credit too. Some of the scheme things that they did, some of the technique things that they used, might have caught us a little bit off balance. We got to make sure we communicate it as it's happening. I think those are some of the things too. But remember, there's 2 teams out on the field.
With Antonio, following issues resurfacing, is that something that you talk to him about, or you think about maybe we tweak his role, or do you still right back to him when you get him?
Well, I think in this case more than anything else, you go right back to him. I mean, people say, that that had something to do with the way he carries the ball. Well, you can't fault a guy for trying either. He spun, tried to get back inside, and tried to spin again, and that's when he got hit. At that point, you also got to say there's discretion is a better part of value. Just take it and go to the ground, and we'll live with another play. But he was trying, and that's that to me is, I'm not going to fault a guy for trying hard.
Hey, Rodney, you also, on the pass rush, wasn't quite what it had been the first couple weeks. How much of that was what Buffalo's doing, Josh Allen, versus not winning it?
I think Josh Allen got into our guys' head a little bit after that first couple series. I mean, tucking the ball and running, because basically, first of all, coverage was good, but, they'd gotten to him and forced him out of the pocket, and a guy with that kind of ability, can stretch a play, get outside, and there's a frustration that comes with it too. When you feel like you should be making a sack, you should be making a play, it gets to guys. It does. It's just like when you're playing against a team that throws the ball quick all the time on 3- and 5-step drops. You're close, but you're not getting there. And if you can get a lead and have a good lead going into the fourth quarter, you can pin your ears back and get after somebody. And that's kind of what happened to us.
Are you surprised that Jahan hasn't had significant production, or what are you kind of seeing out there that maybe teams are taking away from him?
I just think it's about opportunities when the balls are thrown, and when he has had the balls thrown his direction, he's been catching the ball and making plays.
So I guess then is there a reason why he maybe isn't getting as many targets as
Well, a lot of it has to do with also reading the progressions and all that.